Hello, my name is Lucas. This is a bit of lit. It is day 6 of Vlogmas, very late in the day, but nonetheless, I want to recommend some short films that I found on Criterion Channel, subscription service. And yeah, they come from China, so that's the reason I'm recommending them, because I'm living in China and I thought I'll watch these and see what they're about. And they're all really moving. They have a sort of a through line in what they are about, which we will get to. I'm going to recommend them in order of my enjoyment, and then, hopefully you will watch them. You can let me know if you've seen them, what you think of them. And if you go to watch them, maybe you can come back and let me know what you think of these short films. So the first one I want to recommend, and I don't know the tones for all the names for the directors, so please forgive me if I get the tones wrong. But the first one is Butter Lamp, is the English title, by Hu Wei. And it is about this photographer and his assistant taking photos of nomadic Tibetans in the mountains against a changing backdrop, depending on what these different groups of people want. And they're quite interesting, the backdrops. It is not a documentary, but it feels like one, I should mention. Yeah, and the backdrops, as I was trying to say before I got distracted, the backdrops are like really inspirational, aspirational kinds of places that these nomads are very unlikely to ever go to, like the Great Wall of China, Disney World, a really beautiful beach with white sand, Tiananmen Square. One that maybe they have gone to or will go to again is Potala Palace, the sort of most religious place where the Dalai Lama historically resided. And yeah, just it's this photographer taking pictures of different groups of people, families, newlyweds, an old woman, children, and all these different kinds. The Beijing Olympics in 2008 as well. That was another one. And you get to learn a lot about these people. You see a lot of their humanity. I guess it's a little bit scripted, but when you watch it, it really does feel like a documentary, because these people are non-actors. But it's really warm and moving in that way, because you get to learn a lot about these people in these really small interactions, these really, common, everyday people in Tibet that are nomads, not for, I suppose, people like me who live in an urban area, but just these ordinary people is what I'm trying to get at. And it's just really moving. And then the backdrop goes up, and it's stark contrast. I'll leave it at that. I love this short film. It's excellent. Of all the short films, please watch this one. Okay, and then the next one is by Wei Shunjun. It's about a young man who is Korean, or of Korean descent. He's Chinese. They live around the border, I suppose. It's called On the Border. I suppose South Korea is not technically bordering China. North Korea is, but nonetheless, probably on the border of Korea, North Korea. And he wants to find his father to help him go to Korea. And, he has this dream of going there, and he wants to go there, and there's this moment of sort of young love and aimless love. He's waiting for this girl, and they go out and sort of wait or look around or whatever, and it just kind of, it's amazing because it's like he has these hopes and nothing comes of it. Like nothing happens, really. It's just sort of an aimless wandering for a short while, but you're really invested in this character, and you do hope you feel a little bit of pity or sadness in a way for him. I've spoiled it, I suppose, but there's some really solid editing, sound editing at least, in this. And yeah, again, like with the very end of the On the Border, there is this sort of tragic nothingness that happens, where he's turned around. I'll leave it at that again. But yeah, it's really good. Not on the same level as Butter Lamp, but I think it's solid. So the next one is by Hu Bo, and it is called Man in the Well. He's also made a 4-hour film about, I don't know what yet, but called An Elephant Sitting Still, or The Elephant Sitting Still, or something. I want to watch that. I'll probably watch it at the beginning of the new year, because it sounds really interesting. But Hu Bo's Man in the Well, it's these two young people in this sort of destroyed city. Feels like the apocalypse. There's nobody around, just the two of them. And they finally find a dead body in the ruins. And there are some issues with the editing, and just a few production issues with it. But this one is a little bit harder to appreciate in a way, because it does feel like the apocalypse, and like maybe there was some kind of war or something happened, because all these buildings are really beat up and torn down and have fallen apart, literally. But I mean, I live in Shanghai, which is very developed. There are little parts of Shanghai that look just like this. And in a way, you know, Butterlamp, excuse me, my stomach grumbled. Butterlamp is about modernity versus the life, the traditional life of these nomadic people. And in a way, so is On the Border, also about urbanization in its own way. And this film feels so much about the rapid urbanization of China, because there are cities that nobody lives in that have been built, or basically nobody lives in, at least, so that they will later be filled in, because China has spent a lot of money on infrastructure, these kind of things, and has built sort of future cities. But they kind of, you know, I mean, there are parts of cities that look just like what you see. There's no real clues as to there being an actual apocalyptic event, or this being a post-apocalyptic world and the world's done, basically gone, except a few survivors. It could very well just be these kids happen to find themselves in an urban city in the part that nobody's around. Now, I said I live in Shanghai. In Shanghai, it's just really small parts. You are never very far off from, but I haven't been to every part of Shanghai, so maybe the suburbs, I don't know, but I don't think so. You're never very far off from, like, actually seeing people. Anyway, Man in the Well, very interesting. A little harder to recommend just because, well, I'm sure in your country you've seen this kind of thing, but run-down places that look sort of post-apocalyptic. But, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting film in that way. And then another one is Began's The Poet and Singer. It's very slow, and sort of there's poetry involved in it, literally, and it's about a killing in a small town, and that's about it. It's very, very strange and esoteric in a way. uh, it's hard to describe because it's really slow and strange, but it's still pretty good. Also, I just remembered there's another one that is of interest. I'm on Criterion's website. My computer is right there. By Chiu Yang, A Gentle Night. A mother goes searching for her lost daughter. I'll leave it at that because if I tell you any more, the impact of the story will be lost. It's very tragic. All of these kind of have a through line about modern life in China and or urbanization in some way, rapid urbanization. And that's all I've got to say. They're very interesting films in that way. I appreciate them, and I hope that you will check them out or have checked them out. Let me know what you think if you have, and let me know what you think when you do. Thank you. Goodbye. See you day 7.